So let us continue. Okay, so I'm now going to give you kind of sentences. Okay, depending on what you found out and what others found out. This is in the literature. Okay, so related to always. So first of all, what I'm going to talk about is the importance of listening. Okay, the importance of listening. So normally, you know this story. Phone conversations are considered by me as the scariest things to do in a foreign language. It's one of the difficult things to do when you are speaking English, when you have a native speaker talking to you on the phone. So when you have the person face to face, it's already difficult. So let alone when you have that person speaking to you on the phone, okay? Now, it's one of the difficult tasks and scariest tasks for people because you can't see the speaker. That's number one, you don't see the speaker. So what happens? You just rely on the words and sounds you hear, sounds and words that you hear. You don't have the facial gestures, you don't have the other elements that you can rely on in order to understand. No speaker's facial expressions or gestures, so that's why it is very difficult. So several students have the same worries regarding listening in classrooms, because when you take listening video, especially audio listening, okay? In audio listening, it's like a phone conversation, isn't it? Yes. When you have an audio recording, so you just listen to who are you listening to. You don't have these elements. You don't see the speaker, you don't see the word and sound, and you don't have facial expression gestures. This is in addition to the accent itself of the speakers. Okay? So therefore, several students have the same worries regarding listening in the classroom. Yes, please.
Can I share an experience?
Yeah, please do.
I just applied for the HP company for computer call center here in Morocco in Badouar.
Yeah.
So I applied and I was accepted, and all I had to do is to perform a call. So the responsible gave me a paper. There was everything, just how to ask the person, how to reply, everything. And once I heard the native speaker voice, I was talking on the phone. First thing I start to stutter. And then after seconds, I couldn't answer any word, even though everything was present.
Yeah, because you didn't hear what the person was saying. Yes, that's true. Because when you know, these people, they speak spontaneous English. It's their language. Okay? Same thing you speak our English, the same thing you speak Amazigh. So you speak so quickly, like we say, we eat the words and the sounds. So the same thing for those people. They are in a rush. All the time they're in a hurry. So all the time they're in a hurry, even in speaking. So what happens is they eat a lot of words. Not eat, of course, I'm just doing this between quotes, but I'm using the term that is familiar to you. So they use a lot of contractions, okay? So therefore, and the intonation, the accent itself, in addition to the fact that you are not used to all this. So what happens is you have this problem, okay? So, however, listening is very crucial skill in any language because of this, okay? So when you are learning English, you want to speak it with native speakers, right? You're not going to speak it with your mom, with your dad, okay? So you're going to need it for speakers, okay? Native speakers to communicate with them, etc., maybe for business or whatever other reasons. So it's very important, okay? It helps students. Why it is important? It helps students to acquire and learn. To acquire and learn what? You have mentioned a number of them. Words, language chunks, expressions, the idiomatic expressions, grammar, etc. Grammar, pronunciation, and those are the main. You have mentioned them, but I'm repeating them here because those are the real benefits that we can have from listening. Now, moving on to types of listening. So we have mentioned a number of them, so I'm going to recapitulate and make a sentence of all that. So teachers talk, for your students learning English, teachers talk is the most common comprehensible input students rely on in their language acquisition. From your experience. That's the main, listening, comprehensible input that you rely on. Because you have all the time your teacher of English is speaking English with you. But outside, only good students who want to really learn English, tend to go for doing other activities and listening more, watching more, doing more activities with English, okay? So, the types of listening, apart from teacher's talk that we can have, is having recorded listening. I'm going to explain that and see examples of it. And then recorded listening benefits. We're going to have, after we've identified what we mean by recorded listening, we're going to see how the benefits of recorded listening. Then another type of listening is what we call live listening. Okay? And then live listening benefits, the benefits of what this type of listening, which is called live listening. And finally, we will have a look at the types of listening, which are called as intensive listening and extensive listening. Okay? Are you following with me? Yes. Okay? Good. So let's move on into the first type of listening. So recorded listening. Now what do you have here? Recorded listening, we can have course books, audio books that you have mentioned. News broadcasts. You have this online. If you go to Al Jazeera, for example, international, if you then go to their website, you're going to have podcasts. And you're going to have videos. Okay? So, a news broadcast, okay? You can have that. CNN as well. Radio programs. You have mentioned. And then if you go to satellite now at home, instead of watching satellite TV and channels, you can have satellite radios. And satellite radios, you have a number of these. Even on mobile phones now, you can have, if you are connected, of course, if you are connected in your mobile phone, you can have online radio channels. And there are a number of them which are in English. Lots. Okay? Religious, not religious, music, whatever. Yes?
I just want to say that to those who are interested in listening, except the person over there, you can go to BBC or English.com and there are lots of global programs spoken by native speakers.
Yes.
English native speakers.
Yes, that's right. Okay, so good. We're going to see those things later. Now, podcasts. You know what we mean by podcasts? It's audio. It's just audio. Okay, and then you have video. Okay. Phone messages, okay, these can happen like in our case, your friend here. Film announcements, etc. So those are examples of recorded listening, okay? It's a real event, and then it is recorded audio. So just audio, it's not recorded, okay, video. It can be also recorded video. Now, the benefits of recorded listening. They let students hear different voices and different accents. There is a mistake there. Well, no, I'm too busy and I was in a hurry while preparing the presentation. So accents, so that's one thing, and you know it. Students can listen to them again and again, and will always hear the same thing because they are recorded. So, you know, because they are learning English, so they are not developed in their listening. So we will listen to it first time, second time. The more they listen to the same thing, the better for the learner. Okay? The better for the learner. So students can listen to them again and again, and will always hear the same thing. Okay? Which is good for the learner. It gives students potential access to the whole English-speaking world. When you go to those BBC things, so what it gives you this chance, potential access to the whole English-speaking world. You don't go there, but it helps. Let me give you an experience, personal experience. Because I tend to watch a lot of CNN, and tend to watch, I don't know, some time ago, and when I was learning English like you, and then I used to watch a lot of, CNN, BBC, videos, movies, etc. And having some tensions to mix with foreign people. So when it happens that you go there, there is a familiarity already established. You know about their culture a little bit, so you know something. You don't go just tabula rasa. You know something, and then when you go there, so you are already confident and so on. So this is very important in terms of culture. Somebody talked about culture. Okay? Okay, let me go back. Now, the other type of Listening is called live listening. Live listening. What do you, live listening? Could you understand? Not recorded. The opposite is live. Live. Like, for example, when you have Richard, Julie coming to you. So that's live, okay, listening. So let's see this. Live listening includes different genres such as lectures, okay, conversations between teachers, okay, when you are conversing with them, face-to-face interviews. You can have, for example, if you go to some people or in company or whatever it happens to you, then they do interview with you in English. Readings from books, audio, poetry, drama, etc. So all these are types of live listening. But the most common one is the one that we have in our department, for example, when we have native speakers coming and giving lectures and teaching, okay, and doing interviews, whatever. Good. The benefits. So the benefits of live listening are students can see who is talking by opposition to recorded audio or phone calls or whatever. So they can see who is talking. They observe their body language and facial expressions, which is very important. Okay, very, very important. They sometimes interact with the speakers. So when you have somebody coming from abroad and giving a lecture or presentation or workshop here for the students, so what happens at the end? Many students go to the questions, interaction, okay? You interact with those speakers, native speakers giving live listening. Live listening exposes the students to speech phenomena such as hesitations. Don't need to write. You will have all this, I'll give it to you, okay? So just pay attention, okay? Follow. Live listening exposes the students to speech phenomena, which is very important as well. Speech phenomena such as hesitations, repetitions, interruptions, etc. Stuttering, whatever problems of live speaking. Better than recorded listening provides for post-book dialogues. If you notice the difference between the audios that you have in textbooks, for example, people who go to American Language Center, or maybe you did this on your essay when you were in essay, you have a course book and then you have audio. That kind of audio is kind of artificial, usually. It tends to be a little bit artificial, okay? Not realistic. You don't have any hesitations, it's artificial, which is not good. It is good, it's already a good thing to do, but you need to give people, the students, real, authentic, okay? Authenticity comes from the point of authentic material, okay? Which includes this, speech phenomena, such as hesitations, repetitions, interruptions, etc., okay? It is quite important for students to experience speech phenomena, okay? Now, so those are the two types of listening, recorded listening and live listening. So the next one I'm going to talk about is intensive listening. What does it mean, intensive listening? When students listen to audio tracks or a live speaker in the classroom. So, okay, intensive. So they listen to somebody or to audio. And do activities and exercises, okay? So this is intensive listening. Next one is called extensive listening, and it means when students listen outside the classroom, often by themselves, and for pleasure. That's why it is called extensive. You extend, okay? You extend. So both of them are important, okay? So you can have listening that is related to intensive listening. You can do like audio, video, whatever, live listening, etc. And then you can do the same thing outside for extending your knowledge and your skill, okay? So when students listen outside the classroom, often by themselves, okay? Now, is it clear so far? So, recorded listening, live listening, and then using these two things, you can have two types of listening. Okay? Intensive listening and extensive listening. Okay? Now, the next one I want to talk about is the types of audio devices. Can you tell what types of audio devices you can use for listening? Tape recorder, MP3 players, mobile phones, computers, TV, radio, camcorders. Technology. I want something concrete. Okay. Good. Yes. MP3. Okay. Yeah. So that's it. Okay. So those are the most common. Okay. So to recapitulate, so we can have cassette recorders. Now think as like you are teachers. Okay. I think like you are teachers and you want to start doing this. Okay. So I'm showing you the types of listening, and then when you are teaching, you choose whatever you want. Okay. Now, concerning the material you want to use for teaching your students listening, so there are many again. Cassette recorders, they have one benefit. One benefit of cassette recorder, yes? Yeah, there is the easiness of doing this. The win, fast forward, play, and stop are easy to use. It doesn't mean that they are not found when you use MP3 players or whatever. You have that, but it's difficult. It tends to not to be perfect. There is difficulty doing it. Okay, there is difficulty. But when you have it like this, it tends to be easier. Okay. Next, CD and DVD players. CD players. You remember when they started? CD players, small with the headphones. Okay. DVD players. Okay. Audio or video from computers or interactive whiteboards. This is much sophisticated. You can have in your PC, you can have audio video. But at the same time, if you are a teacher, if you are in a good school and so on, you have an interactive whiteboard. The interactive board is a kind of PC, okay? It's a kind of PC that you have on the wall. And then you can use it for playing whatever listening material. Okay? Language laboratories. You now have two in there. Now they are deaf language laboratories. Okay? You know what I'm talking about? Lab 1, Lab 2? So those are used when they began, okay? There's the ability of, they were used for, particularly for this reason, okay? For listening and speaking as well, of course. Students' own listening devices. Students can have their own listening devices like mobile phones in the classroom. Instead of playing a recorder or whatever, you can share the audio with them via Bluetooth or whatever, and then you can listen to it on their mobile phones. Students' own listening devices for individual word or jigsaw listening. I'm going to come back to that later. It is important to try them before. This is very important. Before you go for doing that, you know, the kinds of problems that can happen. Like, for example, today, I wanted to switch this on, but it doesn't work. Now I figured out that there was electricity which was not connected. So you have to try that before you go for it. Teachers should sometimes let students be the controllers. Remote control. You use your students as remote controllers. That's one good thing. Use your students as remote control. You can have one student sitting next to the cassette player instead of you as a teacher, because you're going to be too obsessed and too busy doing the activities. And you're going to fight with the material. So why don't you take one student? Can you come? Yeah, do this. I ask you to do forward, whatever, play, stop, and then the student does it. Okay? It's useful, very useful. Okay? Okay. So teachers can let students become remote controllers. Okay? Can become remote controllers. So this is it concerning this presentation. So the reference, it's this book. I'm going to continue. There's another presentation, but before I go there, I will do this. So it's essential teacher knowledge. Okay, this is the reference, and you have it in here. Edition is the first edition, ESBN, etc. Published in 2012, published by Pearson, United Kingdom, and the author is, I forgot to include the author in there. It is Jeremy Hammer. Okay, Jeremy Hammer, one of the famous people in. Yes.
Can we get a free copy?
You can't. You can't get a free copy. Okay.